Hello everyone, so today's topic is going to be something that's fairly well covered, but it's always good to get a new perspective, some different models. I had a recent, shall we say, phase lately where I was looking for cheap alternative off-brand Telecasters that could be set up into decent guitars for the money. So I'm going to show you four that I thought were very reasonable. Two of which are will not come as a surprise to you because I think the secret's out, and those are from Rondo and Thomann, and the other two might be. So let's start with this one, and this is the Harley Benton TE52 Swamp Ash body. It's got Wilkinson pickups, both positions, relatively good parts, a lacquered maple neck, reasonable tuners, nice piece of wood, quite heavy, very reasonable guitar. So this one here I think runs for, I don't know, somewhere around $150 shipped from Thomann in Germany. And of course the Harley Benton line is becoming known to people in the UK and the US as a good alternative. For some reason, actually I know for which reason, some of their guitars are no longer being shipped to the US because of the rosewood ban. So make sure that you order one without rosewood on it, and they'll still ship that. But this is the first option, the Harley Benton TE52. Very good Tele. I had to do a little bit of fret trimming on it, but there again I live in a dry climate and that's expected when things are shipped from a more humid climate. Some setup, it's got the 2 per saddle, which is quite easy to set up and intonate. Relatively little work. Get yourself a good telecopy. So that's the first example. And the second example is also a known resource now. At least most guitarists are becoming aware of it. And this is the Douglas Gravity NT semi-hollow. So it's chambered. From Rondo, and of course these are only sold online. Same sort of deal, lacquered maple neck, reasonable tuners. I'm not sure of the pickups on these ones, but they sound just as good as the Wilkinsons, as perhaps you'll hear. Nice quilted maple cap there on the top. Of course it's got the F-hole, so this is a Thinline Tele. Also nice and responsive. So this is the Douglas Gravity Tele from Rondo Music, and this one here maybe a little bit more, 170, maybe closer to 200 shipped. They often have them on sale at Rondo Music, and they're really quite nicely done. They're bound around the F-hole, which is nice. Again, I had to do some minor setup. I always have to do a bit of fret dressing where I live, and I hear people complaining about that issue. It's not necessarily the guitar manufacturer, it's up because the guitar is moving through different climates, and wood shrinks and metal does not. So often, you know, I'll get an expensive guitar like a Guild or something like that, and I'll still have to do some fret end trimming and dressing. It's normal. This one also, some action setup. It's got the 6 saddles on this particular model. But once I did, I don't know, an hour's work, you know, I had a really nice Tele. So, that's the Douglas version of a semi-hollow thin line Tele. Next. Okay, the next example is a bit more of a surprise. There was a guy selling Teles and now Strats, I believe, on eBay, and they're just called Legacy, not G&L Legacy. Those will cost you a couple of grand. These are just Legacy, and it has reasonable tenors. This time a more natural maple, just oiled, not lacquered. You know, it looks like some kind of ash perhaps on the body. I know a lot of you guys like to mod. You could probably mod, get better pickups in these, your favorite Seymour Duncan brands or whatever you like. But they're not bad. They don't sound bad at all. In fact, they keep a pace with the two other guitars I just played for you. And what I like about this one is that I just like the neck better. That spanky sound on this. I just like the non-lacquered neck, just oiled wood. It just feels better on my hands and fingers. Not quite as nice cut of wood, rather plain, but nicely done. And you know, the nice rock maple neck. Surprised this one. I paid $30 plus 20 shipping, so it cost me $50 for this guitar, and it was sold as a parts guitar, not working. And when I got it, all I had to do was the same sort of setup that I did on the other ones, and I got myself a nice knockoff Tele. I was expecting this to be really poor, and it's actually really decent. It's a really good guitar. They've disappeared now. But I noticed that the same seller is selling a bunch of Strats for the same price, 20 plus 30 shipping. So you might want to gobble those up. Alright, let's look at the last one. Okay, so this is the red-headed stepchild of the bunch, and if you're a common peruser of eBay, you'll notice that there are some cheap knockoff Teles, Strats and other guitars being sold under the name of Cozart. That's not Mozart, that's Cozart. And I've ordered a few of these and set them up, and let me tell you, these are hit or miss. And this particular model is one of the better ones that I've found. It's a really nice substantial guitar. It looks like mahogany, bit of flame in that, a red burst, and it's the two humbucker models on that. This time rosewood fretboard, and keys are okay. It sounds fairly decent. Let me give you a little spin on this one, see what we can do here. So you'll notice that this one I had to turn the volume down, and pickups are a bit hotter, a bit noisier. Now there are lots of these Cozart models. I got some with very pretty exotic wood thin veneers on the top. They weren't bad, they struggled to stay in tune. Those are ones you'd probably get and immediately switch out tuners and pickups and things like that. I also bought a couple of hollow body Teles with the twin F holes, and I think they're just chambered semi-hollows, and they were terrible. The setup was terrible, the sound was terrible. I had to do a lot of work to get those playing. I wouldn't put those on this channel and say, look, go buy these are great. But this particular one, it's much better made, and I believe Cozart is a company, runs itself out of California, although these are all Asian made obviously, and they make a variety of Teles and Strats. And let me just say, tread carefully. If you're someone who can tinker or fix up or do a bit of luthery, you'll be fine. Most of the time it's just setup stuff. Occasionally you'll come across parts that need replacing. You might just want to get one of these to mod out and completely change it. But these are one of the better ones, a nice substantial guitar. Again, I had to do quite a bit of fretwork on these and an action setup. Truss rods are okay, but they are hit or miss. So if you're thinking about buying a Cozart on eBay, just be prepared to do some work on them. If you can do it, you will actually get a decent guitar out of it. So this is Cozart. Notice I'm just doing clean sounds straight through my computer. I'm not one for doing scientific sound reviews and things like that. I don't think they really exist. I think when you like a guitar on YouTube, it's usually you like the guitarist's fingers, perhaps his amp, perhaps the quality of his camera. There's so many variables in what you're hearing. And I guarantee that no matter how expensive the equipment the video maker has, you're not hearing what he's hearing. You're not hearing, you know, the sound that they're getting in the room. You're hearing it thrice, 4 times removed by a lot of variables. So whenever you watch a review on YouTube, you're largely trusting, or are you admiring the player rather than the gear and the equipment. So I just show these things, play a little bit, give the information out, tell you what kind of work I did on them, and hopefully you find that useful. So there's 4 Teles for you, and next time we'll look at something else. See you then.